Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have the continuation of the story from our brother Emmanuel, who shared with us his experience and the things he went through as a man of God and why he had to make a deal with the devil. After getting to know the beginning of his ministry and how he met this new friend who he thought was God sent, let us go listen to how he was lured into the demonic world in an attempt to have more knowledge and power, to work as a prophet of God. In this captivating story, Emmanuel shares with us the kind of life and the things he has done when seeking for power. He says some astonishing things that got me into disbelief. Now, he is telling us to be more careful of our pastors because, even him, the kind of things he was or has done in an attempt to be more powerful and popular is beyond himself. As part of our policy, I've edited the names, locations to hide their identity. Without wasting much of your time, let's go and listen to the story.
After everything was done and I started working on the land this friend pastor had given us, he told me that he wanted to show me how to navigate in the realms and attract what the good Lord has always wished for us. It sounded nice too, and so I told him I was ready whenever he calls. But then, when I got back home, my wife-to-be called me to her place, since I was not living together with her. And she told me that something is telling her to warn me from continuing my friendship with this pastor. But then, I didn't mind. What I did was that, I made it look like I was no more in talking terms with the man. The idea was that, maybe God was using him to bless me and my woman, might be blocking this blessing bringing in such issues. The church was not doing any better. Since people had already said a lot of negative things about me in our area. It made things become really difficult for me. I also had it at the back of my mind that the place where I was having my church meetings was not for me, and anything could happen. So, I needed to do something and have my own place that I can say it belongs to me. I called this pastor friend one day, and told him that things were really hard and the members kept on reducing. It got to a time that it was about only 9 to about 50 members that were always coming to the church. This my new friend promised to help me grow the church. So, one day, he told me that he wanted to introduce me to some of his spiritual fathers in the ministry. So that they too will help me just as they helped him. I was very much pleased to hear him say that. I decided not to tell my woman anything about the man again, since I knew for a fact that she didn't like the fact that I was talking with the man. The day came and he told me that we were going to meet his spiritual father. We got to the place and I realized I know the place. I had heard a lot about this man. In fact, he is one of the few elite men of God that are in this country. I was very happy to have met this man. Someone that we all aspire and admire to be like. Was finally in his presence and shaking his hands. He welcomed us very nicely and my friend introduced me to him as his friend. He made him aware that I was struggling in ministry and wanted someone powerful to lay his hands on me so that my ministry will grow. After everything, this pastor told me that he was going to help me. But then, asked me to prepare myself spiritually by embarking on 21 days fasting and prayers. After which he will call other top pastors to gather in his house to lay their hands on me. So, the day came after I was done with the fasting. W went to meet them in a different place far away from the city. There is this building far away from the city that the pastor owns. It is one of the nicest buildings I have seen. It is isolated in trees in the forest areas. We got to this place and I was introduced to the other top pastors present. It was like they were extremely happy that they were going to pray for me. They all were wearing a black robe. Even including my friend that I went there with. This robe that I am talking about, they went into a particular room in this building, and when they were coming out, they were all dressed this time in that robe. I was a bit confused. So, I asked my friend why everybody was dressed in black. He told me that, before I can spring out and shine like a flower, I needed to die. Just like seeds die before they germinate. Hence that black robe represents death. So, they were in essence were going to kill me and raise me again. This he said was going to be done spiritually by the leaders. When they were ready, I was called to stand in their middle, whilst they formed a circle around me. I was asked to lie down at my back, whilst my face was facing up. they recited certain mantra in a language like Latin. When after the mantras were finished, they light up candles, each one of them had one in his hands. And they placed the candle down after speaking to the fire on the candle. When the candles were down on the tiles, they told me that after the first prayers, I will start seeing things. So, they gave me a room and asked me to go and sleep. Because, in the evening, I was supposed to tell them what I saw in my dreams or visions. Whatever I was going to tell them would determine what next they were going to do. At first in the room, I couldn't sleep. I was asking myself in the room a lot of questions. Some of the questions were if what was being done is from God or the devil. And why all these powerful men of God were all gathered here because of just me. But before I knew it, I had slept off. In my sleep, I saw a very giant dark shadow creature coming towards me. As I was there watching this figure without talking in the vision, it touches my lips and told me that, from today, go out there and perform miracles and do great things in my name. It handed over to me a ring in the dream and told me to tell the elders about the ring that it has given me. Right after saying that, I woke up from my sleep. I decided to walk out to go and tell them what I saw. I came out of the room and saw all of them seated with their legs crossed. The leader called my name, even though they had all closed their eyes. He asked me to come and sit amongst them. I sat down close to my friend, and I was asked what I saw. I told them everything, and to my surprise, the same ring I saw in my vision was given to me by the leader. One thing is that, when I came and saw them sat in such way, I felt I was just part and it felt I have been with them for a long time. Everything seemed normal to me. As soon as the ring was given to me, I was asked to wear it. They told me that I was only to wear it when I am going to minister. I was not to wear it when I sleep with a lady until I cleanse myself. The last thing that I was made to do was that every one of us cut himself and some calabash was used to collect the blood. After which something was mixed with it and every one of us would dip his hand in and taste the mixture. But before dipping your hands in it, you will say that you promise and swear never to speak about anything you've seen to anyone outside, no matter the situation. After that, you dip your hands and swallow whatever is on your hands or finger. Before leaving, I was told to go and prepare the land that my friend had given me. I was given a huge sum and one of the top pastors said that he will come and have 3 days program with me. This was something great. So, I came back and with the help of my friend, I started putting up a structure on the land he gave me. I had to lie to my future wife about the money I was using to put up the structure. I told her that one lady and another man who God had used me to perform some miracle in their life were the ones helping me to put up the structure. When he said that she wanted to meet them and thank them, I told her that they said they prefer that I don't reveal who really they are. So, the structure was completed in no time and I had one of the nicest programs since I started ministry. On the 3rd day that the program came to an end, I ministered. Come and see how I was in the realms ministered and prophesying here and there. This was not usual. I knew right from that day that I was going to go far. I had 3 of the pastors I met there gracing the program with their presence. After the program, one of them gifted me with a nice car. The other 2 also gave me huge sums of money. About 3 months after the inauguration program, I told my future wife that I wanted to go and see her family so I can get the list in order to marry her. To my surprise, someone who was always praying that I can make it and marry her, she told me to wait. She said she was not in any rush to get married. I tried more, but the more I tried, the more she was giving me excuses. It was as if she didn't want the marriage idea anymore. I told myself that she was going to change her mind so we can have our marriage ceremony, so that I can have my woman all to myself. In about a year after I started this new church, she had still not agreed that we married. So, I decided to move on and never talk about marriage with her again. I went on with my association with these big pastors and I was organizing programs and being invited to their churches too to minister. Things had now become smooth and I was really enjoying this my newfound fame and wealth. Even though I wasn't as popular as some of the pastors in our circle, I was still getting recognition that wasn't small at all. One day, I went and have a program in a different pastor's church, and they brought a blind man to the program. And whilst I was ministering, I called out a name and said that that person, the devil had inflicted her with blindness. Truly, they brought her out and I told her that I will anything possible to make sure that she is healed. But then I told her it wouldn't be a one-time thing. After the program, I talked to my seniors in our fraternity and they advised me against it. But then, one of them later called me and told that some of them are jealous of me that I was becoming too powerful. He said that there are procedures that I can go through and get the person healed. He said that is what the seniors use and they have their names everywhere on the lips of the people. So, he took me to the head of the fraternity and explained to him why we went there. I think it was the fame and money that had blinded me. I don't know why I was so eager to do this thing. The man said that I will have to go to a cemetery in the night around 1 a.m. and perform the ritual before I can apply anything to the lady and heal her. I was supposed to dig a newly buried corpse and cut part of the body and mix it with a mixture that he had prepared for me. I told him I can get some boys to do it for me. But then he said even if the boys get the casket open, I should be the one to do the cutting. Or else it won't work. In the night, I went to the cemetery after we realized that they had just buried someone a day before. I went there with this pastor who told me about these things and 2 other boys that I trust. They were able to get the casket open and I was to go and cut part of the body. Something was pushing me to stop but then I was too eager to get it done. So, I didn't mind whatever was prompting me to stop. We asked the boys to go to the road and keep watch on the car and see if someone was coming. The moment I finished cutting the finger, something like a hand from nowhere gave me a serious slap that I felt like a flash of light had just flashed on my face and that was it. When we rushed back into the car that we went there with, and we asked the boys to go and cover the casket. I gave them money when we got there before and they also came there with some small car. So, we had to leave there and leave them to cover the grave. In the car, I felt a sharp pain in my eyes and when I closed it and opened it, I couldn't see anything again. I started telling the other pastor that I can't see anything. So, he came to the driver's seat and asked that he drive. We got home and all effort to try and see didn't come to pass. The next morning, the woman I wanted to marry came to my house to tell me that she was ready and wanted us to start preparations for the marriage. But then, she came to meet me in this condition. She tried her best to find out from me what happened. But then, knowing very well of the covenant I had, I couldn't tell her anything about my society or what I went to the cemetery to do. Angrily, she left my house. Almost about 2 years now and I am still battling this problem. Now, my friend who got me into this society is the one who operates or runs my church for me. They are trying their best to get me back my sight. Even though I know I might not be able to see again, I still allow them to do all the rituals they do, thinking that, one day, they might succeed. So, my brother, this is my life story. How I got myself involved in having a deal with the devil in order to be famous and be able to perform miracles. I will plead with you lovely viewers not to rush into anything, but rather, wait upon the Lord to leave them in His own time. Thank you very much for listening to my note.
Please kindly subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. Let us please be vigilant of some of these people parading as men of God. I know there are genuine men and women of God out there. But then, beloved, let us be mindful of where and who we associate with as our leader when it comes to this church life. These pastors are doing some weird things all in the name of attaining power and to be more affluent. So, it is never about the work of God. But rather, they are really there to satisfy themselves at the expense of you, the follower. Why will you be jumping from one church to the other? Is it not the same God that is in every church? So therefore, ask yourself that, why would God answer this His servant and not answer the other one? If all of them are truly working for Him. We live our lives anyhow and then, turn around seeking for miracles, thereby falling victims to some of these pastors. I pray that we learn from some of these stories and live a better life. As I always say, we are not here to race with ourselves. Therefore, do the little you can and ask your Creator to bless your handwork. Please let's be mindful of the choices that we make. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.